Hi. Hopefully you can hear me. Turn down my music a little bit. I don't know if I want to be on for too long, okay, this evening. Um, I'm thinking that it's important that I do at least say something about the world events right now and the big feelings I have about them, and my insight on why other people have made choices to have feelings or not feelings about the world events right now. I am very aware there is a conflict in um, between the Ukraine and Russia. I am very aware. I am a person who stays informed about world events, probably a little more informed than a lot of everyday people. I personally, I I don't want to say I don't care. um, I do care that people are being hurt. Okay, I do care people are being harmed. I also find it interesting, and I'm glad there are a lot of people starting to pick up on this. That there have been conflicts around the world since forever. Like, I will just even say this: even the United States, we literally have just left a conflict not even a year ago. But I find it very interesting. I'm trying to, mind my words. I find it very interesting how some people are framing this conflict. I have a problem with that. If there has been conflicts around the world continuously, I wonder, why is this conflict more spotlighted in certain news outlets in the United States? And because, like I said, I'm a little more informed than most people when it comes to world events. I don't necessarily watch uh, American news. And so I posted on my social media personal pages almost barely a week into the conflict. The things that I started seeing is how, if there are people trying to escape a country, certain people are allowed across the border, but other people are not. I pointed that out on my social media networks, and I find it very interesting that nobody responded when I did that. No one. And it wasn't hearsay, there was like actual video footage. And not just from one source, but from many sources, that people who look a certain way, even in a conflict, are being marginalized. Like, so if literal bombs are falling from the sky and harming people, there's still people out there that are okay with picking and choosing who gets to go and be safe. I have a problem with that. Where people get to pick and choose who gets to be safe in their country as a refugee. And if for some reason I'm trying to dance around it but not dance around it, how do they know who they want to come into their country and who they don't want to come into their country? If all of the people are running, like literally pouring into a country, how is it that some people can go through into safety and some people cannot? And it's just a quick judgment, a quick flash judgment. I tell you, people with brown and black skin are being denied access to safety in other countries as they are trying to flee the Ukraine. Hmm. And so it's like, when can we ever be considered human enough to be protected? And yes, like I said, I do care that people are being harmed and hurt. But how is that any different than a few years ago when people were being slaughtered in the Sudan? I literally have coworkers coming up to me like feeling all sad. I'm not trying to mock them, but seriously, like this stuff was happening before, but I can't blame them, my coworkers and whomever, because it's the media that's doing it. They are, and if there is ever to be, and I'm going to talk about Pluto return in just a second, if there's going to be this big shift and change in society, I think the, as they say, the final boss, the big boss, is going to have to be the media, because they are the instigators. They are the fire igniters. Okay? They are the ones that pour the gas on the fire, and they mold and they cultivate the masses into feeling and thinking a certain way. Okay? And let me give you yet another example. So, as this conflict is started, we, as the United States, we really don't use that much Russian oil. They've even said so. And so I'm wondering, why is it that the gas prices are up all of a sudden? When wasn't it just 2 years ago when everything shut down, they had to pay people to hold on to the oil because nobody was using it. And I'm going to tell you now that more and more people are opening up um, cities and towns, and more people have quit jobs, they don't need gas. But yet gas prices are up again. You tell me. Okay. So the big boss, final boss. Now, I'm not saying that it's not true. It's not happening. It is true. I did drive by a gas station the other day and I noticed. But I don't think, and this is where I'm glad this is happening. I don't think a lot of people care. Not as many people as you would think cares. Now, if it's a natural disaster, yes. Was it like, I don't even know, 6 months ago when people were acting a fool because of the southeast was being hit by a storm? I feel like that is a little more genuine in people's reaction. If like pure on destruction of oil um, uh, pumps are being destroyed, and of course you can't get to the oil. I think people felt um, a little more uh, frightened by that. And yes, there are people. Yeah, I even again heard today on the radio, like they can always find somebody who's going to be like, the oil prices, I can't get to work. There are so many people who are quitting jobs, switching over. to the new thing that I think, I think news media outlets, they really do. They go back to the old school book of reporting, to keep people watching, to keep people engaged in their content. So yeah, the oil prices and the gas prices, like, um, it's not hitting the same anymore. I'm like, I personally, I'm like, I don't care. What do I care for? Because first of all, I um, have situated myself in a way that I don't have to drive. I don't do commuting, and cities and towns are starting to look different. Like I said, the shift. This is what I'm talking about. We used to live in a society where people would commute, and it's still happening. I'm not saying it's not, but commute for hours to get to their job and go back to the suburbs. But that's changing. There's a lot of things changing because of technology, because of the shutdown. It has shown so many people that we don't need to drive to the job to do the job. Okay? As many times, and then there's been memes and things like that with people saying, um, yeah, I'll say this, the only jobs that are still with that mindset are the low paying um, service jobs out there. And then, of course, healthcare and things like that. I was talking with my cousin just the other day. She's a lawyer, and she told me she just, after all this time, she's like, I don't need an office anymore. What am I going to an office for when I'm doing my job at my house now? It's like all the things I would go to the office to do, I can do at my house and online. And I was like, yeah. And I have a few other friends who are in the same situation where their companies realize it's like, well, we're just paying for office space, and things really didn't change very much. Things didn't change very much. So we don't need an office. I mean, we can rent a place, we can go meet up somewhere every once in a while, I guess. And then, of course, we got the internet. So, yeah, things are changing. And like I said, these news stories about gas prices are kind of laughable. Okay, they're kind of laughable at this point, and I don't know. Yeah, they're laughable. So the Pluto return started February 22nd. Okay, that was about. Let me see. I'm trying to look at my calendar. I don't have my phone near me. Today is the 10th, so maybe uh, almost 3 weeks ago. Almost 3 weeks ago. Yeah. No. Yeah. About 3 weeks ago. Um, and then the conflict began 2 days later. Okay. So the Pluto return is for the United States, though. So, um, yeah, people keep talking about World War, but who's saying that? Who's actually saying that? The media. They're saying that. Even the people in Russia, they're just like, what in the world is going on? Like, it's not, I don't know. I mean, I can go in deeper, but I want to talk on the more spiritual realm of all of this. It's like whatever is happening and changing, there's pushback. And there's pushback in the media. The media has been trying to push back for a little bit of time, knowing that the great resignation is happening, but then they try to place these same old tired news stories about gas prices like nobody's falling for it. Okay, most people are learning now to do better with all of that. You know, there are whole communities who have now, when they had the opportunity to have the shutdown, and and again, this is yet another um, thing that's happening that the media doesn't want to talk about, where there's a lot of communities who've decided they don't want to send their children to into a school building anymore. They want to be in charge of their child's education, and they see how it can be done, and they're doing it. And they're doing it. But the news, they keep talking about, oh, let's get the children back into the building and mask and the teachers and that kind of thing. I have I definitely have like skin in that game, okay? But I don't know. It's not what you think it is, y'all. Okay? Yeah, you can watch the news, but which news? I stopped watching, like I said, American style news a long time ago. The only reason why I would watch it would be for the weather, and I know now it's the Weather Channel, and I can just get a nap at this point, so I don't necessarily need to even watch the news for the weather. Yeah, it's changing, and because change, and now this more spiritual aspects of this, because change, there is growing pains. There's there are growing pains. Okay, the United States, I don't know, like we don't even have anything to do with this conflict, but yet people keep saying, "Oh, what are we going to do? What have we been doing before? We just left a conflict." Then I mean, I just said that. We just left a conflict. Anytime there's other conflicts in other places in the world, we don't do anything. Why is it different now? And again, I'm just going to kind of sort of, I know I didn't allude to it, but because certain people want us to pay more attention to this. Okay. Certain people want the masses to pay attention to this. And now I'm going to tie it more into my spiritual theories. My last video, I talked about the mystery being revealed. You can watch that video. I'll put it in the description. How the proof of law of attraction is real in physics. Okay? And so our thought energy does create things. And so the media's role in that is important. So if we keep watching the news and they keep telling us about the gas, and they're like, gas prices are going high and the children are learning loss, and that kind of thing, so it makes you worried, so it brings you more worry. Okay, my advice is turn off the news, turn off the TV, turn off the Netflix. Okay, you can still get news, important, pertinent news. There are people who they do it without. I'm I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. There's a model that most American style news outlets function under, and that's for the advertisers. So they're bringing in bodies to watch the TV so that they can sell you soap and cheeseburgers and pills and things like that. So that's why you're stuck on those news outlets, because they want you there, so they got to lure you in by scaring you. Okay, basically, and it keeps you scared so they can sell you pills and sell you, I don't know what else. I'm trying to think of the types of commercials. Think about it. So I want you to do an experiment. The next time, watch your local news at noon and then 6. And then I want you to notice the commercials, because when I was in college, I took media, and I learned about advertising. So I broke the code on advertising a long time ago. So I want you, and one of the easiest ways to do that is, yeah, watch the news, the noon news, only because I want you to see that there is a big difference in the commercials that they present. Around noon, you'll get like the housewife, house husband type commercials, like, baby goods and things like that, household things. Around between 4 to 6, the news turns into things where people like health insurance and medicine for people who are like, I don't know, between ages 30 to 60, like working age, working world age. Um, and also, and let me go back again. So going back to the news, so even people who are um, on disability, you get a lot of those commercials too because they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. I'm trying to peep the game for you. They know what they're doing. You just need to know what they're doing now. Stop watching American news like that. Okay, I think most younger people are doing that anyway. Like most of us have apps and stuff like that. If we need like news, we know where to get it. But yeah, broadcast news and cable news, it's yeah, no. And so there is the cultivation, the almost like the growing of certain emotions and mindsets for society. Don't get caught up in this. I'm about to sneeze. Sorry. Whew, allergies. So yeah, there's certain mindsets they want their public to have, their audience to have, and a lot of people are breaking away from that. A lot of younger people have been breaking away from that for a while, a long while. And again, talking with my cousin, we were talking about our moms, their sisters, and how things like these world events. Um, lately, I think my mom, I've told her basically what my situation is. I was like, I don't care about the gas price. I don't care what it is. I think my dad is gonna already taught her about that. It's like, who cares about the gas prices? It's not like they're both retired, long since retired, and I'm in a wonderful situation where I don't really have to care about gas prices because I'm doing so well. Um, and so I was like, who cares about gas? Who cares? You know? Um, but then every once in a while, she'll, talk about things like, of course, weather. That's the one thing that I am okay with everybody freaking out about, and I do too. It's like the weather. So you can't stop the weather. I'm kicking my legs up. Sorry. So yeah, you can't stop the weather. Global warming. It's like we did this to ourselves in a lot of ways. But yeah, everything else is just like, I don't know. You really do have to look at all viewpoints. Okay. I'm not too much of a hippie to be like, is programming. It's like, no, you can watch it, but please watch it um uh with a um critical eye. Okay. Notice it with a critical eye. There's certain news, like I can probably even break it down to different networks, broadcast networks, and how they specialize their news. Like one specializes in natural disasters a lot, one specializes in political things and then one specializes in maybe I don't know, just random like environmental stuff. Like, like it's almost like they specialize their news. Like in news, so they're curating their news and they're cultivating their audience, and then they're doing it for the advertisers so they can get the commercials out there. And then before I go, because I am gonna keep this short tonight because I got things to do, um getting ready to perform tomorrow night and all weekend really. And um time is changing this weekend. Oh my gosh, they had another reason because I probably would have wanted to come on Monday or Sunday, but I'm losing an hour and my week is gonna be busy. So, and that's okay, cause I'm not sitting around watching the news freaking out about like World War III. It's like whatever. But then have that critical eye. I will advocate for brown and black people and say, look, even in a crisis of a majority white population, they still find a way to restrict brown and black people from escaping a country that's being bombed. Yeah, yeah. And so, yeah, watch news with a critical eye. And like I said before, I go advertising. Um, that's powerful stuff. Advertising. It is mind control. Now, people keep saying news and television's mind control. No, advertising is, and they know they've, as I, going back into my own study of it, because like I just said, I do have a background in communications, mass communication, so radio, TV, film, and then I also have a degree in music. So there is that aspect of appealing, gaining rapport, appealing to a person, persuasive, you know, uh, persuasive techniques to get people to buy things. And yeah, advertisers. So people who are complaining like the talking heads, I don't watch the talking heads, by the way, because they're doing it for the advertisers too. That's what's so funny to me. But anyway, so the talking heads are complaining about how commercials are woke and stuff. It's like those are the people with the money. So as much as you want to complain, talking head, who's also doing it for the money, the advertisers know who has the money. It's those people who look a certain way now, and people who have certain kinds of families now. Okay, so interracial couples, and that's something I had to break down to my dad not too long ago, because yeah, he pointed it out, because I think the president currently even has mentioned it and noticed it. I was like, that's because they're the ones with the money. Why would they advertise to people who are broke? They're the ones with the spending money at this point. The people who are in interracial couples and people who are in same-sex relationships and marriages, they're the ones with the money and spending it. Okay, so that's what's happening. So as much as people want to complain like they're trying to be woke, it's like they're the advertisers are being practical. They know where the money is, and that's where they're going, so they don't care about you. Like if you want to buy the product also, that's cool, but they know who their audience is at this point. Okay, with that, make sure you watch my video on the mystery revealed. I had to do it in two parts this week. I got interrupted in the middle. Make sure you observe spiritual hygiene. Okay, as things are happening, observe spiritual hygiene. Meditate. Observe true self care, not just bubble bath or whatever. I mean, you can make it a spirit bath if you want, but I'm saying really, really, and I'm giving you heads up. Like, yeah, y'all don't. Yeah, you can watch the news, but please watch it with a critical eye. Wonder why is it that they're only showing certain things. Like they're only pointing out, oh, they're doing this to the children and that to the children and then to the pregnant ladies. It's like there's apparently a lot of pregnant ladies over there. The way that they're doing it, or showing it off, is they're making you think there are so many pregnant ladies over there. You know what I mean? Like where are the other people? Yeah, they don't want to show that because they want to appeal to your um, pity and rage and shock and all of that stuff. They're doing this for a reason, y'all. Every country has all kinds of people, but yet they're barring. And this is not Ukraine. I'm talking about another other countries like Poland, barring brown and black people from crossing the border to safety. They don't want to talk about that. No, they don't want to talk about that at all. But yet they're quick to show, oh, the pregnant ladies, and yeah, I feel for them. I do. I do. I'm not saying that I don't. But it's interesting that they are, showing certain things. So, yeah, Pluto's return, the United States, we're changing. Good for us that the power is shifting. And maybe this is a test. We don't have to fall for the news media spin. We don't have to fall for the spin. Okay? Who cares about the gas prices? I don't. And there's a lot of people who don't. And I'm laughing. I think that's one. I don't know. Between that and the Caucasian, well, that's a mislabel. Yeah, no, we can talk about that later. But white people, we don't say Caucasian over here. White people, okay, and then the ethnic white people, okay. Um, but yeah, there's that. So I'm gonna get ready for tomorrow and this weekend. Take care.